Welcome to Africa Business Radio. I am your host, Chukwu Nonso Modi, and today we have a very interesting individual on the show. He is the CEO of Teekpay, a leading micropayments platform. Please let's welcome Abdul to the show. Welcome, Abdul. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you. Nice to join you, and hopefully get some great experience for your listeners.
Definitely. I hope so too as well. All right, so seeing Teekpay, a WhatsApp micro payment platform, really did take a pop a question in my head. And let me ask, what inspired this? What gave birth to the idea to start Teekpay?
I think what inspired it was really is the difficulty it seems to be when trying to send a payment, whether it's fiat or crypto, globally. There's a huge problem. For banking, there's a massive problem because people like Western Union charge huge amounts. For crypto, there's a problem with the onboarding, for the complexity and understanding crypto. So I thought there's got to be a way to be able to simplify this entire process. And instead of building a brand new app and download the app, I thought, what's the most popular app that everybody opens on their phone every single day? Probably about every 10 minutes of every single hour. And that is WhatsApp. It seems to be the app of choice. So I thought, let's build a platform that utilizes WhatsApp to send and receive payments, including crypto payments, which makes it simple for people to sign up and then start sending without the friction that normally exists with these kind of apps.
All right, that's interesting to see. I mean, like you said, it's not something that is so conventional. So that alone just brought up that question. Now, since you talked about, the micropayments market and the reason for Teekpay existing, I would like us to talk about the market that you're playing in, the space you're playing in. So how much has it evolved, coming from, people not even knowing about you can do those payments on WhatsApp to where it is now?
Look, I think micropayments is evolving extremely quickly, especially with the advent of, the blockchain. Because before micropayments was really, it was, Vodafone's mobile application, M-Pesa, various applications around the world. But nothing has been really cross-border. I mean, you can't make an M-Pesa payment to somebody in the Middle East or the US. You can't make a US Venmo to somebody in Central Asia. Yes. You can't use a banking application in Central Asia to do the same thing in America. So everything is very, very siloed. And there's not a single micropayment method that exists right now that is able to connect the world, the global world, and take all the barriers, all the bridges, and all the difficulties away, so that, like the way we communicate on WhatsApp, is it should be as seamless as that. Why do I have to go through all these hoops to be able to make a payment? So I think even as the sector evolves and as micropayments evolve, everybody has still, a kind of put themselves working in a silo and not being able to create something that's truly global and truly accessible. So this, I think the transitions now coming, especially with the advent of blockchain, is something to take center stage, to give people the access that they want with the simplicity that they want. So I think that even as quick as the market is evolving, I think we're going to see an evolution which is far more superior, far more exponential in the next couple of years than we have seen in the last 20 years.
Definitely. Now let's talk about how Teekpay functions as a WhatsApp micropayments platform. I had said that seeing Teekpay kind of sparked an interest and a conversation I'd had before with someone. And typically people would not have necessarily thought about using WhatsApp to make this payment. So just give us a rough overview of how it works, so we know how do you make this payments? What are the benefits? How does one profit from making payments through Teekpay?
Absolutely. So I think if we delve into what payments are, it's simply two things. It's somebody making a payment and somebody receiving a payment. So the person who is making a payment has to have some level of holding of that currency. So they could have it in a bank account, they could have it on a card, they could have it in crypto, and they could have it in cash. And similarly, all they want to do is take those 4 methods and transfer that money or wealth to another person. That's the mechanism of any kind of payment system. It's the transfer of wealth from one entity to another entity. So the way Teekpay works is an off-ramping, a transfer, and an off-ramping model. So your on-ramping, in essence, is the person who wants to send money has to fill up their Teekpay account with money, with their wealth, in some form, whether that's cash via a outlet, whether it's on their credit or debit card, or whether it's via a bank transfer or even crypto. Once they've filled their app up, their WhatsApp app up with that payment, their balance is then tied to that phone number. So that phone number, whenever is a system via WhatsApp, will give them that balance. And what they then do is to move that balance. Instead of having to know a person's, full name and banking details and country, all they need to know is either their WhatsApp number or their handle, like their username, like you have an Instagram handle. That thing. And all you then do is inside WhatsApp, you type in send, the person's handle, the amount that you're sending, it could be 10, and the currency that you're sending, so USD for example. So you simply type those 4 words, send Abdul for example, 10 USD, and you hit the send button inside the chat.